when government fears people, that's liberty. When we fear the government, that's tyranny. Now that was said by Thomas Jefferson, one of our founding fathers. I see a lot of tyranny up there on this council. I see a lot of tyranny over here in this side of the room. You guys can't fix the streets, the water's constantly being turned off, and the sewer keeps backing up. You guys are running the city. She's running the city. I'm pretty sure he's running the city as well. The question is, when are y'all gonna step up? We're talking about this redaction software. I have body camera footage of that one breaking policies and breaking the law, violating people's rights, but you guys don't want to show that video. What are you guys doing with this city? Do I need to have you guys investigated by a higher government body? I'm fixing to. Welcome back, my beautiful troublemakers. Yes, it's me, your favorite pain in the government backside, here to remind you that you, yes, you sitting there in your pajama pants can actually help make change happen. How? It's easy. Grab yourself some BZWATCHDOG merch so you can wear your rebellion on your chest. Join the monthly membership for $2.99 because, let's be real, that's cheaper than the gas station coffee you're drinking right now. And if you're feeling extra spicy, you can leave a PayPal or Cash App donation so I can keep poking the bear. Links are in the description because we're classy like that. Now, little backstory before we dive into today's mess. I have been denied body camera footage left and right. Yes, even when I have releases signed by the people in the videos. Why? Because apparently they don't have the redaction software needed to blur faces. Except they do. Yup, the technological capabilities are sitting right there in their own records like a neon sign flashing, "Liars live here." But to the Attorney General, "Oh no, sir. We couldn't possibly edit video." Sure. So I thought, naively, maybe the city manager, Megan Henderson, is just clueless in getting played. I'll work with her. I'll get redaction software on the agenda. I'll help the citizens of Hillsboro with all the headaches this poor woman has been dealing with for the last 4.5 years. But nope, wait for it. I prepped a 12-minute city council presentation. Full PowerPoint. Professionally done. All their little rules followed. Only for Madam City Manager to call me last second and say, "Oh, by the way, we're cutting your time down to 10 minutes and removing some of your slides." You know, the slides that actually mattered. I wasn't given a time limit like everyone else. I wasn't told to change anything until the day of. In fact, less than 30 minutes before the meeting started. So yeah, I lost my cool. Totally went off script. Carolina from Fort Worth was there too. Spoke during open comments and during my agenda item. And let's just say, we did not hold back. There were, let's call them, very personal accusations aimed at city council members like the mayor, the city manager, and of course, Hillsboro's own Tony Cain and his little illegal dog breeding empire. Buckle up, folks. Today's video is going to be one hell of a ride.
Next item on the agenda here today is the persons who are wishing to address the council. We have one name to Caroline Rodriguez. Are you here to talk about the subject of the comments, or are you here to talk about on the open comments?
Okay. If it's okay, I don't need the microphone, I don't think. I think people can hear me. Okay, so it's budget time. So what I want to talk about today is some of the waste of money that we've been noticing just by outsiders looking in. And one of the biggest wastes of monies we found was the police department. So Hillsboro is a 12 square miles. It has 27 cops, and the budget for them is $5 million a year. They went over $500,000 last year. But Mexico, I think that's how you pronounce that, it's 8 square miles. They have 21 cops. That's kind of similar. Their budget was only $2 million. So what are we spending all this extra money on that they're not? So that's a lot of money. So it could account maybe, I mean, Tony makes a lot of money. He's got that mail order college degree, but I don't think he cares too much about the police department anymore because I've never seen you in a uniform. You don't wear your uniform anymore. So who's really running that police department over there? I mean, the guy that's running it is getting paid a lower salary, but you're getting your high salary and you're never over there. So you're busy at the city manager's office so that you can make sure that nothing goes awry over there because she's the only one that can fire you. But the crime rates actually, the social trends with crime rates now, they're actually going down. And they're changing because more people are staying at home. So we have less home burglaries, and besides, only 20% of property crimes were solved anyways. Nothing's prevented. You don't have any prevention programs. You don't have any anything like that, and you only solve 20% of the property crimes. So there's also a big problem of going over that 500,000. It's for salaries and things. That's mainly what it went for on Fridays and Saturdays. So the question is it private? Are they doing private duty? And aren't those people that they're doing private duty for paying too? So why would we have to pay them also? Is that like double dipping? Maybe? We don't know. We have to look into it. And then there's your trips. Indianapolis flew first class, $1,000 for your plane ticket. Stayed at Le Méridien, the most ritziest, fanciest hotel over there. We had to pay for your food and the $400 a night hotel. That'd be nice. But again, not paying attention to what's going on at home because we have these drug dogs. We have 3 drug dogs on the insurance, but where are they? Where are they? The kennels are just falling apart over there. It's over here, I guess. And the people that are running the drug dogs, the ones, the canine trainers, we haven't had anybody licensed to do that since 2016. So they're not keeping up, according to TICO, as far as the requirements they're supposed to have to run those drug dogs. So if you have litigation going on and somebody was with somebody, okay, if someone's going to sue you guys because your people that are running those drug dogs aren't trained for it. So that's all I have to say about that.
Mr. Zanzar, are you going to speak in open comments or are you going to wait until you're
I'm speaking in open comments as well as the agenda.
Sure. Next individual, Basil Zanzar.
Well, I'm actually going off a little script tonight. Just want to say the fear of when government fears people, that's liberty. When we fear the government, that's tyranny. Now that was said by Thomas Jefferson, one of our founding fathers. I see a lot of tyranny up there on this council. I see a lot of tyranny over here in this side of the room. I wasn't going to say this tonight, but as you're aware, Mayor, and as you're aware, Megan, you guys nicked something out of my presentation tonight that actually was very important, and I'm really pissed off about it. I'm not going to overreact. I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'm going to speak a little firm. I'm speaking from the heart. You guys aren't doing what it takes to run the city. I mean, look, this is the least turnout we've had since I've been speaking since April. You guys purposely planned another event going on between 6 tonight and 9 so the people can't hear what you guys are fixing to do tonight with this budget. That budget is everything. You guys can't fix the streets, the water's constantly being turned off, and the sewer keeps backing up. You guys are running the city. She's running the city. I'm pretty sure he's running the city as well. Question is, when are y'all going to step up? We're talking about this redaction software. I have body camera footage of that one breaking policies and breaking the law, violating people's rights, but you guys don't want to show that video, even though I put some redactions in there, which are simple, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. But what? We got a whole whopping 7 people in the audience where we normally have 20 to 30? What are you guys doing with this city? Do I need to have you guys investigated by a higher government body? I'm fixing to, because you guys have broke all kinds of laws, ethics, and I'm fixing to slam y'all down. I was trying to work with you. I was trying to get y'all to fix your city for the people. They're the ones that pay your salaries. Your $5 a meeting that you guys do, which means, guess what? Y'all got to be doing it for another reason, not for public service. You know, I believe city council owns a contracted labor business. Pretty sure some people are retired. I don't know what other people are doing here. Chiropractor business. What are y'all doing? Y'all ain't doing bids. He's running a dog service on the side and breeding dogs. Are y'all selling the dogs? You selling the dogs to them? Are you selling them to Waco? I know about the business. I also know about all the overtime you guys are actually paying the police department to protect certain businesses in this town, which is illegal. Don't worry, I got you all dead to rights. Everybody up there, everybody, including these two right here. Y'all want to keep going this route? Y'all keep blocking my speech, keep blocking this agenda stuff, and you guys will be in jail just like the city manager down in Texas City did a couple of weeks ago. Anyways, that's all I got to say. We got the redaction software presentation, so I'll leave it at that.
All right, moving along to the consent agenda, deliberate and act on the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting on July 15, 2025. Act on the approval of bills. Deliberate and act on a resolution authorizing designated signatories for the library special projects grant documents. Council, does anyone have any questions about any of this consent agenda items? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion. Move to approve. Second. City Secretary.
Councilmember King. Councilmember Lloyd. Councilmember Robinson. Councilmember Hernandez. Councilmember Richmond. Councilmember Dodd.
Moving on to the regular agenda, hear and deliberate on presentation by Basil Zangari regarding redaction software for law enforcement meetings. Mr. Zangari.
All right, I have everything prepared for this redaction software minus the body cam footage I was supposed to be showing. I'm going to go into this, but just keep in mind, whatever I do, it ain't going to matter, guys. No matter, they're going to vote no anyway. So you guys can tell them all you want, but I'm putting that disclaimer out there right now. So with that being said, good evening, guys. I'm Basil Zangari, also known as BZWATCHDOG on my social media platforms. Tonight, I'm asking you guys to take a small, cost-effective step that would fundamentally shift how transparency and accountability obviously doesn't work in Hillsboro. Trying to get this clicker, there we go. What I'm proposing is a way to activate what taxpayers already pay for oversight, compliance, and public trust. That's body-worn cameras. You guys already pay for body-worn cameras here. That's the device that she's got right there over her right-hand pocket that allows you to collect evidence, video, audio, and context on all traffic stops. The Texas law defines it clearly, and it's not just a camera, it's a tool for evidence, as I was saying, for resolving complaints, criminal or internal, and for building or restoring public trust. The audio and visuals captured are often the most direct window into police and citizen interaction. If we can see them, review them, and act on what they show, we can police the police effectively because they're going unchecked right now. The legal foundation for transparency and accuracy, the legal framework here isn't optional. It's designed to push toward disclosure. The Texas Public Information Act, which is what regulates all these records, starts with a presumption in favor of openness. Body-worn camera recordings fall into the ecosystem, with specific rules about how they're requested, redacted, and released. There are structured deadlines, rules for exception, and a fee mechanism that allows the department to recover reasonable cost when releasing footage. This isn't speculation, it's what the law contemplates, and the tools we're asking for integrate directly with those legal obligations so the city can apply clearly while offsetting the cost. So, just to let you know the current problems and frustrations, obviously you guys can tell from me tonight I'm having a lot of the frustrations with this, is the reality on the ground requests get delayed, or denied over minor redactions like a license plate. And that law changes on September 1st. But there's other things that need to be redacted. But because the department lacks an efficient, compliant redaction workflow, citizens, journalists like myself, and even internal actors are left in limbo. There are no consistent internal auditing. In other words, they're not double checking themselves. So policing and policy deviations go unnoticed. The process is obsolete by design or by accident, and it creates distrust. The friction isn't just inconvenient. And those, again, are some of the problems I was talking about. Proposal summary. What I'm proposing is a surgical add-on manual redaction layer to the existing WatchGuard system Hillsboro already has in use. It's no new cameras, it's no health cell system replacement. It's just a tool for sanitizing footage the right way with training and support included. For about $1,000 a year, on a multi-contract, the department gets the ability to reliably and legally prepare footage and 911 audio for public release, internal review, and compliant resolution. So what does that buy us? First, compliance. You reduce denials, litigation risk, which is really important, litigation risk, and gray area pushback. Second, you get transparency. When the public sees properly redacted footage, promptly, trust grows because the system is visibly working. Third, accountability. If the chief or the assistant chief is required to randomly pull 3 incidents per officer monthly, policy violations get caught early, training becomes targeted, and leadership is reinforced. Fourth, revenue. Using the fee structure allowed by the Attorney General, the software pays for itself and then some. Fifth, risk mitigation. Clear footage helps resolve complaints, supports insurance claims, and protects the department from unverified allegations. This isn't a cost center. Done right, it becomes a tool for improvement and stabilization. Now, I want to anchor that in a real example. What you were about to see was the footage that I had shown where I easily redacted something on my own software, free software by the way. It actually features a supervisor, that one right there, someone who's supposed to be modeling compliance and training officers efficiently, but yet I caught her doing policy violations, breaking the law, and violating somebody's rights. And I wasn't trying to show this in shame, I was just trying to easily show the transparency on how easy it would be to actually correct something so there wasn't more risk and liability with the city. But obviously it was cooked before we got here tonight, so I'm not able to show that video. On slide 13, which is actually the one we were supposed to be playing here. Cost recovery and financial model. Let's talk numbers for a second. The software costs roughly $1,000, about $80 to $90 a month to regain the cost. Under the AG's fee schedule, releasing routine footage generates revenue. 10 releases a month at 5 minutes apiece already cover the cost and then some. That's a conservative example. This is a self-funding transparency mechanism, not a recurring subsidy. Pricing stays transparent so the public sees the fairness and the department isn't eating the cost, it's recovering it. Policy recommendations. To make this stick and work, we need a policy behind it. First, the body-worn camera policy to codify the fee structure so redaction and release costs are recouped appropriately. Second, require the chief or the assistant chief to pull and review 3 random body incidents per officer each month. This turns oversight into ongoing training and early correction. Third, codify a clear public request procedure with timelines and redaction expectations. Fourth, publish the oversight metrics, which we have here on the screen, like in the city manager's update, so accountability isn't hidden. Fifth, treat the software purchase as an approved item, start it with a pilot period, and evaluate based on real metrics. Case studies and supporting evidence. You're not experimenting in the dark. Other jurisdictions have done similar things. Seattle saw transparency improve and release friction drop when proactive redaction workflows were adopted. Annapolis streamed FOIA responses by adding third-party redaction tools. National research confirms body-worn cameras best when paired with policies and review, improving trust and evidence reliability. And modern redaction platforms, manual or assisted, are designed to make compliance manageable, not burdensome. This isn't untested, it's replication of best practice with local tailoring. Implementation plan and timeline. So here's how we do it. Step 1, approve the proposal. Allocate the modest budget. Step 2, execute the contract, onboard and train. Train. Step 3, draft and adopt the updated policy with the audit and fee language. Step 4, launch a 60-day pilot to exercise public request, internal reviews, and collect data. Step 5, full rollout with monthly reporting built into the city manager's updates so the council can see the outcomes and can adjust it necessary. 12, metrics for success and accountability. We measure it, key metrics, how quickly requests are fulfilled, how many redacted releases happen each month, revenue versus cost, results coming out of the monthly footage reviews, and citizen feedback. Are transparency complaints dropping? You know, that's the key thing. Are they dropping? If you can't measure it, you can't improve it. And she's always talking about making yourselves better. Well, this is one way to do it. These metrics turn the abstract into trackable performance. So this is where you act. Vote to approve, adding the redaction software to the existing system. Direct staff to draft and adopt the updated policies with align with Attorney General guidance and require the oversight reviews. Start the pilot immediately and get the first status report in the next quarterly update. This isn't a theoretical improvement. It's a practical, low-cost, high-leverage step toward real accountability. And for the record, these recommendations rest on firm legal footing. The Texas Public Information Act disclosure presumption, the body-worn camera request and exemption framework, the fee recovery rules, and recent case precedent about what constitutes meaningful transparency. I've included those citations in my presentation so that you and the staff can reference them directly when drafting the formal ordinance or policy language. And in closing, that's the proposal. It helps, keeps the tools already in place working for the public, it builds internal discipline, reduces friction, and it can pay for itself. And I'm happy to answer any questions or work with any staff on any wording for the resolution or the policy update. And that's it.
Council, any questions for Basil regarding this agenda item? Okay, hearing none, we'll move along to the next item on the
I
agenda.
was going to speak on that too, on his, I put it on that sheet. I was supposed to speak, just to add notes to his a little bit. I put it on that paper and I told Jasmine also. So it's just really quick. As far as the redaction software goes, you don't even have to pay for all that either. It's nowadays we have these apps for everything. And if you guys come back with an excuse that we don't have a way to redact, it's a really lame excuse because even a sixth grader can do this now. It's something very easy to do. And the point is like what a lot of police officers say to us is, well, if you have nothing to hide, why don't you just show your ID? Well, if y'all have nothing to hide, why don't you be transparent and show these body cams? Because when you start pulling the officers' body cams, it's not to get them in trouble. That's not what it's for. It's to help them retrain and help them do better. Because this department is the perfect size to really excel. Because you are not too big and you're not too small, and they have a really good brotherhood over there. They all get along really well, and it's a big opportunity to really make this police department really excel and probably be a model for other people to come follow if they can get everything right now. I mean, it's just strange that nobody's checking to see if they have their licenses, the dogs, what's going on with that. Where's the money going? That's the biggest thing right there. But when you don't have transparency, that's red flags. And you know, Ronald Reagan, my favorite guy, he said, check and verify. It's okay to trust these guys, but just verify. Just verify. That's all you got to do. They could make a mistake or whatever, but you guys are really missing an opportunity if you don't take the opportunity to turn this department into like a model department. They have really good people over there, and you've already got that. So, thank you.
Again, council, this is a hearing deliberate presentation. Next item on the agenda here, deliberate on a presentation by the city manager and the finance director concerning the preliminary budget projections.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Really just some comments. We're still in the process of preparing the proposed budget. That will be filed with the city secretary in the coming week or so. But wanted to go over some of the goals and assumptions that are undergirding our preparation of the budget this year. I will start with what we're going to finish with, which is that this is going to be a lean budget. Staff knows and council knows we have growth in our forecast, but it's going to be a couple of years at least before that growth begins to actually hit the tax rolls. We get, judged on that value as of January 1, and then we collect taxes on that value January, February, a year later. Given that not a lot is going to be on the ground January 1 of 2026, we know that the budget years of 26 and 27 are both going to be pretty lean, and then we'll be able to know kind of what happens at what speed after that. So everybody's been asked to kind of tighten their belts. There's not any department that's free of that. Generally, the 2026 budget that we're working on now is going to emphasize employee pay and benefits. We have been reviewing our pay scale in comparison with peer cities and model cities, and the goal, the goal isn't for top management to make the same as peer cities, because those jobs aren't necessarily the same. But at the entry level, those entry level policemen, police officers, law enforcement folks, firefighters, water and sewer technicians, street department, parks, somebody coming in as a first year employee of the city, those jobs really are comparable, and we are competing for labor with a pretty large marketplace. So that's where we are focusing. The majority of city employees, we're projecting to receive a 1.5% increase. I know after saying it's important, that's not a big one. But there's a lot that we're trying to do in this budget. We have a proposed increase in our employee retirement plan contribution. That's a big deal. Most of our peer cities, pretty much everybody around us, has a 7% retirement contribution. We're at 5%. That's difficult for our employees in terms of what they're able to get with the city of Hillsboro as compared to peer cities. In reviewing the budget, there just was no way we could get to 7%, but we're proposing this year to go to 6%, and hopefully we'll be able to, stair step up over the next few years. Our health insurance, we were so excited about last year. They've come back this year with a 39% increase.
We do have a meeting with our broker on Thursday. So I think they went out to market, so we're going to see what that market bears out.
We do have a proposed increase in our certified property tax value. We're going to recommend setting the tax rate at the voter-approved rate of 0.8024 per $100. That is, we went down last year, if you'll remember, so we gave everybody a little bit of a break. We're proposing to go back to where our rate has historically been. This is actually a little bit lower than the historic rate, but right around, a little over 80 cents is where we've been, and voter approved rate will be a little over 80 cents. This will levy approximately 6.927 million, with 12 cents of interest and sinking, and then the remainder of 0.6824 at M&O. That puts a little bit more money into M&O, which is going to help us out with all the things we're trying to do. Dale, anything else on that while we're here?
In the past, except for last year, the tax rate has been 0.8064, so this rate is a little bit lower. Our appraised value went up, so we will generate more revenue than last year. So which is going to help us with this contributions from 5 to 6% TMRS. That's about a $255,000 bill right there. And then what sales tax is coming in strong. Part of that is Buc-ee's. We're looking at probably $540,000 for the rebate for Buc-ee's that we do per year. We're running about $45,000 per month on the rebate.
Back on salary increases for city employees, we're proposing to go up, I said 1.5% in October. When we do the increase in the retirement from 5% to 6%, that'll go into effect January 1. Because we're putting in an extra percent, employees are also putting in an extra percent. So if we don't give them another 1% raise at that point, their paychecks will actually go down. So that is also in the proposed budget. So they'll get 1.5% immediately. They'll get another 1% in January, but honestly, they won't feel it because it'll just go into the retirement. This year, this fiscal year, we will have an increase in expense for police vehicles because we went to the enterprise lease program. So we have 6 police department vehicles that were supposed to be added this year that still haven't been received.
With the chain delays and everything, they've been delaying everything on those vehicles. The thing about police vehicles, you're probably looking at I think we figured a 5-year life, basically. And so we need to get in that rotation of rotating those vehicles, or we're going to pay an arm and a leg in maintenance costs, which we are right now.
Looking over at water and sewer, we had an initial proposed increase from Aquila of $1 million again. They have actually gone back on that and have reduced the increase to about, they'll have some debt service that they've got to cover, but an additional $500,000. We asked them, so they're thinking they're going to go up another $1 million a year for the next 2 years. And we said, guys, if you do that, then we don't have any money with which to do some water line improvements and replacements and try to lower that water loss. If you would wait and go up later and let us spend the same amount of money this year, but spend it on our system so that we can reduce some of that water loss, then we're going to be wasting less water. We'll be fiscally more able to bear the cost 2 years from now. So that's what they're doing. But what that means is we still need to increase our expenses in water by $1 million because that increased cost from Aquila is coming. The only way to make this work is for us to spend that money on the system and try to reduce our vulnerability to leaks in the meantime. So it doesn't mean that our ratepayers will pay less, but hopefully it means that the system will become more reliable and we'll have less overhead in the coming years. We do have another $230,000 in the budget next year to study the wastewater system. That will be, I think we talked about that a couple months ago. They're not going to do a huge inventory of the entire system because that would be super expensive. They're going to look at the 3 basins that collect the majority of the stormwater and that are the oldest. They're in the central portion of town. Those manholes, making sure that they've got structural integrity, making sure that those drainage channels flow and have adequate capacity. That's going to be a big portion of making sure that our system is functional. By doing that review, we're able to find what lines need to be replaced and to minimize the kinds of disruption of service that we've had after major rain events. in the last few years. It will also reduce the amount of infiltration and inflow that's coming into our wastewater treatment plant, which is absolutely critical to manage the operability of that plant and keep it meeting its permitted requirements.
Like Megan said, it's a lean budget. There's not too many frills. No big capital outlay purchases other than, of course, anything with water, sewer. But we should have, I gave you a copy of our worksheet for truth and taxation. I got that Friday afternoon, so we should have getting some firm numbers probably within the next week.
Any questions for us?
All right, moving on to the next agenda item, hearing and deliberate on city manager.
I will not spend a lot of time on these slides. I'll just hit things that are highlights. No change in the anticipated development layout or timetable. The reallocation study of Lake Whitney is underway and comments are being accepted by Brazos River Authority. So that is an opportunity for us to give input that we're taking. We continue to use various means to let the public know what the city is up to. Talk about a little bit about the comprehensive plan. We had, as you know, the land use fiscal analysis in June. There have been 2 different surveys of the public to get input into, values for the community and what people want to see as the city continues to grow and develop. We have a survey number 3 is open this week and will continue to be open for the rest of this week and maybe midway through next week. That's a survey specifically of business owners. If you are a business owner or know business owners, please encourage folks to fill out that survey because it's important that we get that input. Next week is Virginity's next in-town visit. So they will be here for 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday. On Wednesday, they will have a meeting at noon and in the evening. And both of them are come and go 2-hour window. No formal presentation that will happen at a specific time. People just come and participate in these different input opportunities. They'll look at different possible growth scenarios. If the city developed like this versus like this versus like this. They'll look at different place types and give feedback about those different types of development. They'll look at different things that could be happening in downtown and kind of rank and weigh things that downtown may need. And then they'll talk about kind of what decision-making principles should we use as we're approaching decisions in the future that we may not anticipate. What principles should be guiding us as we make those decisions. They will also, on Thursday, have a meeting with Council and P&Z and then the Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee. So staff will be getting with you guys. They want to know if we can get together at 4:30 or failing that at 5 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. I know that's tricky, so they're trying to stack meetings. So we'll get with you and find out what's possible there. We did have a meeting with the Texas Commission on Fire Protection on July 23rd in regard to their investigation. There were some findings that were not in our favor. They found that we had some equipment that wasn't being properly managed, and there were some findings related to continuing education. And the deal with CE it wasn't necessarily that people weren't getting their continuing education requirements, but there wasn't the documentation necessary for us to be able to show exactly what hours had each person gotten, because depending on your credential, you may need a particular number of a particular kind of hours. And so we've got to be able to prove that everybody got their appropriate training. So a bunch of makeup continuing education classes were scheduled and held, in-person training. We did fulfill all of that as required by them and have turned all of that into the commission that was due the end of last week and was all submitted. We had a total fine of approximately $110,000. But because we had become aware of some of these things over the course of last year, we had already taken a lot of action. We had spent north of $60,000 on, working on the equipment and various things. And so the commission recognized that effort and allowed us to use that as a credit against the fine. The remaining $50,000 or so can be spent on stuff for the department, and it can be split over the next 2 budget years. So the budget we're going into and the year after that, we'll be able to do $25,000 apiece and fulfill these requirements with the Fire Commission. Any questions about that? Okay. We've got several open positions. A lot of those are frozen, and several are going to remain frozen through next year, so that we can have the dollars to do the things that we've talked about needing to do. Next big event after tonight is Autumn Fest, and of course everybody knows tonight is National Night Out, so we're trying to keep things brisk and let everybody get over there, because that's a big deal. And then I'll let Assistant City Manager Tony Cain speak to Goal 3, supporting preservation and beautification. Any questions for me?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Just to give you an update on code enforcement staffing. Currently, we don't have any code enforcement officers. They've decided to seek other positions in other areas. But we are conducting interviews. Had one this evening just before council meeting. So hopefully we'll be able to fill those positions very soon. We've been getting calls about people cutting their grass and putting their grass clippings in the road. So we're going to address that issue by reposting some educational information on Facebook. Want to post something in the Reporter newspaper and in the water bill. And we will continue to make contact with violators. Update on Knox Fuel Stop. I think we've talked about this last month, that the old Up and Smoke building has been demolished. The owner is still deciding on what he wants to do with the Knox Fuel Stop. We'll give him until next month to give us a proposal. Amigos, we made contact with the owners last week. They plan on beginning work again in October. 81 Motel, all construction inspections have been completed. Waiting to do the building final and the CO. They are still cleaning and working on punch list items. Walmart inside remodel is complete. Fire Marshal Kerry has completed the hydro-visual test on the fire line and the fire flow test. Entire project should be completed this week. We're going to have a building and standards board meeting August 21st. We'll be taking 2 properties before the board, 301 Avenue and 1051 East Walnut. The meeting will be held here. Hillsboro Operation Welcome Mat, thanks again for the refreshments. Citywide cleanup will be September 20th. We'll have more details on that. The curb cleanup, still working on cases. O'Reilly's Auto Parts, no new updates. Southern Star Storage, most inspections have been completed. Waiting to do a meter release, then building final inspection and the CO. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda, hold a closed session under the provisions of section 557.071 of the Government Code in regards to Economic Development Project, SEC. Show the council in closed session at 6:45.
Well, folks, that's it for today's episode of How Your Local Government Can Gaslight You and Still Get Paid for It. If you enjoyed watching me drag the truth out into the daylight while a few elected officials try not to squirm, smash that like button, like it's a redacted public record. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next thrilling episode of Who's Lying Today, and ring that bell, because apparently transparency notifications are the only thing the city can deliver on time. Now here's the deal. You want change? Stop waiting for someone else to do it. File a records request. Show up at city council and speak your mind. Email your council members and actually hold them accountable. Better yet, read the budget and ask them why Tony from Parks and Rec suddenly drives a Tesla. If you want to help me keep poking this hornet's nest without having to pawn my camera gear, grab some BZWATCHDOG merch. Join for $2.99 a month, or toss something in the PayPal/Cash App tip jar. Links are in the description. And let me leave you with this. This channel isn't just entertainment. It's an unofficial oversight committee that doesn't take bribes. Until next time, I'm BZWATCHDOG, reminding you that we, the people, wasn't meant to be followed by or are too scared to speak up. So stand up to tyranny, speak up, and remember, sunlight is still the best disinfectant, unless, of course, they redact it.
BZWATCHDOG.